Okay, there are a few things to get through today. Let's try and keep it as condensed as possible. First thing, and the first one I want to fly through, because I just think this story is either dead in the water or has got an awful lot to run. Apparently West Ham have set a £75 million asking price for Jarrod Bowen. And I've literally just got the news 2 minutes ago. I'm not sure I'm processing that, really. I think my initial reaction seems a little bit low. Apparently we're meant to have set such a high price that it's meant to dissuade people or put them off. But I do think that the very big clubs have got that sort of money, haven't they, really? And certainly when you look at us struggling to bring in some players for around the £40 million mark, I don't know. I'm not sure. Look, I don't think we should sell him at all. I'm hoping we time down to a new deal. As I say, this has got an awful lot to run. I don't think so. Look, the rumour is Arsenal. Arsenal don't need Jarrod Bowen, let's be perfectly honest here. I hope we can do enough to keep him. The last thing we need before the start of the season. Look, we're struggling as it is to bring players in to fill the positions that need filling without having to go and find another bloody right winger, for goodness sake. So anyway, that's all I'll say about that for the moment. What I will say about us bringing players in, we must be very confident we're bringing in a left-sided player. We really must be massively confident that we are about to do that, because why else would we sanction the sale? The loan move of Arthur Masuaku easy for me to say, Arthur Masuaku to Besiktas. It wasn't the Arthur Masuaku that got me tongue-tied. It's the Besiktas. I'm not sure if there's a sh in it, or if it's just a Besiktas, or it's a Besiktas. I don't know. Oh, the Besiktas. Who knows? Anyway, I've said it now. Why would we sanction that deal if we weren't certain somebody was coming in? Look, you and I both know that Arthur Masuaku is not in the long-term plans of David Moyes. However, he used him an awful lot in pre-season, didn't he? And I was a little bit surprised to read that he'd played Arthur Masuaku 180 games for us. Is that right? I looked at it, I thought that must be a misprint. But if he has, then clearly he's a player that's been a good servant to West Ham. No trouble at all. However, in this pre-season, David Moyes has been using him a lot. There's one of two reasons why. If we both accept that the reason he's not, basically it's not because he's part of long-term future. We both accept that. It can be one of two reasons. And that is because he wants to play the formation next season with three at the back, and he really wants to try it out and need a left wing back to play there, because that is the plan for the following season. Or David Moyes is playing three at the back because he doesn't have many centre-backs. It makes sense, I know. Why would you play with one more, with an additional centre-back if you don't have many centre-backs? It's because Moyes will play the full-backs as the wide centre-backs. Whatever, whether he's doing it because players are injured or whether he's doing it because it's part of the plan going forward, the problem was he didn't have a left wing back, and the answer to the problem was Masuaku. Masuaku was the answer. So we also know with David Moyes that if he feels that we're a little light in an area, he won't sanction a deal. Issa Diop is a perfect example. Issa Diop, as you know, is not the first choice, the third choice, or the fourth choice, or even the second. I skipped second. He's not one of the first choice centre-backs. However, David Moyes not sanctioned a deal because he's worried we might be left short. So the same rules would apply to Arthur Masuaku. He's sanctioning the deal because he knows somebody's coming in. But who is coming in? That's the question. So some will say Cornet, some say Cornet, and some say Kostic. Now, the Cornet deal is an interesting one because apparently it's a year loan that we're looking at. So why would people be interested in a year loan? Well, I mean, Gio made a really good case why it's advantageous for Burnley for it to be a year loan. But why would it be advantageous for us to have a year loan? And this has got me worried, you understand? This has got me really worried because I'm worried that we might get Jesse Lingard-itis again. And what I mean is we signed Cornet for a year because we know Kostic, his contract runs out in a year. So we're probably thinking, right, okay, we'll go back, we'll keep Cornet for this year. He can play down the left side, wherever he plays. So I don't know. I hear he can play left back. I hadn't seen it myself. I've not seen much of him. Whenever I've seen him, I've not thought, oh, defender. I've thought tricky attacker. But look, what do I know? Apparently he's played lots of times a left back. But whatever, it doesn't matter. If Moyes sees him as our answer on the left wing, wherever it might be, defender or attacker, then fine. But if what he's going to do is think, oh, I'll do it for a year, then we're going to get Kostic, Oh, honestly, it should be once bitten, twice shy. We've got to be careful with this stuff. We really do. Because you know what will happen? We try and go back in for Kostic in a year's time. And then Kostic says, oh, actually, no, it's all right. I'm leaving on free and going to Juventus. The reason I picked Juventus is they've been linked with him all across all the newspapers and the websites. There's a lot of stories linking Juventus with Kostic. If you want to read more of those stories, by the way, then look no further than the OneFootball app, which you can download by clicking that link under the screen. Why would you want to read about stories about Kostic and Juventus? Well, you know what? You don't have to. What you can do is only read about stories pertaining to West Ham. That is because the OneFootball app, it goes searching all around the internet and all the newspapers, and it cherry picks all the West Ham stories. It doesn't scrunch them up, to be fair, but it puts them all together for you and delivers them ping to your phone. Ping and a slap to your phone, gives you a notification, and it can read all about all the West Ham news, transfers, injuries, obviously all the gossip, all the fixtures, all the injury news, everything you need to know. Your one-stop West Ham shop. That's OneFootball app. Best of all, it's free. So, yeah, that being said, even if you did only put West Ham in there would still be a load of Juventus stories in there because they are apparently challenging us for Kostic. We just got to be really mindful and really careful we don't waste too much time on this transfer. But just going back to what I said earlier, I really do believe we must be massively confident of bringing someone in because I just don't think David Moyes would sanction the deal. So maybe one of these deals, either Kostic or Cornet, one of those is far more advanced and far more progressed than we think it is. Maybe, just maybe, it's so secret and it's somebody else and neither of those two that by the time you watch this video, it's already signed and it's already done. Chance to be a fine thing. We normally get to hear about medical time, don't we? That sort of thing when we're about to sign a player. But that'll do me. I don't know. I just think it's such a bold move selling, or not selling, but loaning someone like Arthur Masuaku, getting rid of him for the season. There's got to be someone coming in. Imminently, next few days has to be, doesn't there? Anyway, that's what I think. The other bit of business which I was not surprised about the business, surprised the way it's been reported, is Amadou Onana. Now, it's everywhere. There's a number of these stories, and they all came out with the same thing, and that is West Ham are preparing to make a third and increased bid for Amadou Onana. Okay, nothing wrong with that, Why do we know? That's what I mean. Why would you announce your intent to make a third bid for a player? I mean, there's only going to be a number of things that are going to scupper a transfer, right? Either the selling club say no, or the player doesn't want to come, or someone gets him and nicks him before. Swoops in and takes over. Well, that does happen, doesn't it? People do. What's his name? Diaz at Liverpool. Tottenham were just about to sign him. Liverpool came in for, hello, we'll have some of that. Signed him. I just don't understand why that would be announced. It's very ponderous, it's very clumsy. We are about to make a third bid. Don't say it, just do it. I mean, it's a bizarre thing to announce your intentions. Imagine if you carried on like that in an eBay auction. I mean, you'd never buy anything, would you? Let's be honest. I'm about to bid £8.52. Oh, really? Okay, I'm going to bid £9 then. You probably wouldn't, would you? You'd probably bid £8.60 if you were shrewd. Anyway, Sullivan had probably bid £9.50. I don't know what item. I don't know what item is £9.50. A big, massive tube of Pringles, probably. And I just found it a really, really strange one. Look, go in there, get the deal done. Okay, if we want him that badly, and I suspect we do because we keep on going back in for him, there are other players who we've just dropped. We've had a no and we've just dropped it. Apparently, the player wants to come to West Ham. I'm sure he does. I'm sure we're going to increase his wages quite significantly. I think it's a good deal. Somebody pointed out it's a good deal for the club, Lille, who have bought him, I believe, a year ago for $4 million. If what I read was correct, I mean that's a pretty damn good markup, really, isn't it? They can do what they want. Apparently they're rich from the. Did they sell Botman? I might have that wrong. Whatever. They've got a bit of cash in the bank, so they don't really need to sell, which is fine. But we're persevering. We do persevere, don't we? A little bit too much, I wonder. But I don't mind it on this one. But see, the thing is, with some players, we just get told no. That's not what we've been told here. We've been given a price. So if we really want him, we've got to go and get him. And if he's that pivotal to David Moyes' system, then just go and do it. If David Moyes is basically saying, no, this is the guy, I need this guy to make my system work, and my word, we do need a little bit of dynamism, I was going to say in the middle of the pitch, probably in wide areas as well, to be honest with you, then just go and get the deal done. I like what I've seen, not that that should mean that the club should bid anymore because of what I've noticed on a few YouTube clips, but he does look really good. David Moyes wants him. I do sense a confidence though, just in the strategy of the last few days, particularly after Masuaku thing. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I think someone's incoming. Maybe it's just my optimistic nature getting the better of me there. Who knows? Anyway, we may well know by this time tomorrow.